nice when the sun came out. Okay. Fair enough. No, which is, I'm gonna ask.
Did you get the credential?
No.
They didn't send an email, right? Not yet?
No, I don't think that they've sent them out.
Yeah, me too. I've been taking the quiz this morning.
Yeah. No, I'm good. Go over there.
Eh?
$1.50.
More or less like this. I don't know exactly. I'll take I'm keeping this. I use it every day. Almost every day.
Does the tripod on the grass belong to anyone? The tripod on the grass that is being used by Secret Service belong to anyone?
That's gone now.
Now it's gone. Doesn't matter.
There you go.
It's over.
Magic. Yeah. Just like that.
I just imagine, you know, like,
Okay, great.
I can't get it over shoulder.
Well, you probably want to switch positions with them a little bit, right?
I mean, I might. I got this. You don't get the car. handshake. It's kind of both.
Here? Yeah, no. But there, the car will be in the way. Well, actually, the car backs up. That's
Yeah.
The car usually backs up.
Yeah, and so it's a bit more on this side to see both. I mean, mostly when I was more there, I couldn't see them on that. Yeah. I think it's also not the picture we are using. Because I have this picture before us, before we can
Okay. After this, I'm going to go in and listen to the oval.
I'm going to stay here till you tell me to do anything else to be.
No, I think, well, actually, let me see. Is there anything that you could leave? No. Okay, is there anything we can leave there? You know where we were yesterday queuing? If there's anything we could leave there. Well, maybe I could put out my bag.
Because often you don't come back to this place, no one stays here anymore. As soon as they're here, they don't go out this way. So I say, what's going on?
Maybe I'll just put my bag. Marek, would you like a spot here? Would you like a spot here?
Cześć.
No, there. Maybe in between those two. Yeah,
Just
yeah,
be careful with the wire.
Yeah. Yeah, probably on that side, yeah.
No, I'm just trying to figure out where you want me to set up to go.
I think here. I think we're going to be here.
Then I'm going to stick here and
Stick there.
let you go
I'll,
for the...
either I take this one or I'll just put my bag.
Yeah, I mean this one is really good.
Then
My
we
lights
then
try
I'll
to...
forget. Okay, no credentials in this bag. Well, that could be a good one. Does he like kind of face? No question? No? No. Otherwise I'll let you. Well, look, it's just about the impression, right? If they say a single word, it's interesting just to see. Is that what, yeah, that's And as soon as he comes, I'm going to grab my mic there, but I'll wait.
I guess going live.
No, not for this particular thing, but we want to capture the sound if we can.
now or like when he's coming? I'm not trying to hide. I'm gonna duck down.
Sorry, we lost it.
Yeah,
I don't think they're gonna let you in here. Yeah. I mean, maybe you can squeeze that back there, but not here.
Okay,
Yeah. No, I don't think you can be here.
Oh.
I have to have my read. And do you have a camera behind your face? Maybe there. Yeah, unless, but Marek is sitting here, right? So, you know, if they want to, you're good there? Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, I don't.
You good? It's such a horrible thing to say in our profession, right? We're so used to be uncomfortable.
We're standing for hours.
Hey, Misha, was Rubio at the press conference yesterday at all? I didn't see him. He was at the Oval, but I did not see him during the press conference. Tredje dagen på raken. Tredje dagen. Utländsk besök här i huset. Den här gången är det mer press än de andra dagarna. Det är Volodymyr Zelensky, Ukrainas president, som kommer hit och ska underteckna ett avtal med Donald Trump hade tänkt. Det är ganska mycket som är lite oklart om det här avtalet. back there. Yeah, just lift it straight up. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Yeah, yeah. I'll let you know. Nobody's running this time.
It's often like that.
You're actually going to see it better, Misha. Yeah, you're going to see it better because I have the pillar in the way. Trump is going to step out a few steps there. But I'll tell you when I see it in the glance by.
After they sign like the deal, I say like, Ukraina, we had it result.
Vi har ett resultat! 12 poäng. Nobody got that joke by me. No. Well, flags are not up yet, so they're not. Yeah, them two, yes, in the yeah. I mean, he was here. Was it 3 times to meet with Biden? I think, but first time for them here. Although they did meet in New York, of course. He met in New York with Trump. Was it twice? Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay, but he wasn't president? Wait, was he president back then? Okay. That's true, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
To nie jest dobry pomysł. On jeszcze nie przyjechał. Ale kogoś, ja klęczę na ziemi w grupie reporterów, za chwilę jak on przyjedzie, to tutaj ja będę musiał się rozłączyć. Co jeżeli ja ci powiem, że mam się rozłączyć? To nie jest dobry pomysł. Jak mogę, to wchodzę, jak nie mogę, to nie mogę, naprawdę. Chyba, że teraz, w tej sekundzie. Tutaj stoją już żołnierze, już czekają z flagami, może to się przedłuży, więc mogą spróbować. Tuż przed wejściem, ja ci tylko powiem, czy mogę wejść czy nie. Najwyżej przerwę, powiem, że właśnie przyjeżdża i tam czeka. Dobra, to zadzwoń do mnie tuż na 30 sekund przed wejściem. Na komórkę, przez komórkę, tak.
They haven't even opened the gates yet, right? No. And they haven't raised these flags either, so. It was so funny. I caught Macron after his meetings. I caught him walking down Pennsylvania Avenue, like right after. He was just walking down. Yeah, I think he wanted to go see Lafayette. I think so. I honestly think so. maybe he wanted to go there. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I'm born in Algeria, so I grew up speaking French and Algerian Arabic. C'est super. Vraiment. And of course 12 points.
Teraz szybko, no możemy jeszcze. Witam serdecznie. Jeszcze nie, ale wszyscy czekają tutaj na niego. Jest w grupie kilkuset dziennikarzy, którzy zgromadzili się przy zachodnim skrzydle Białego Domu, przy wejściu do zachodniego skrzydła, gdzie już są rozstawieni żołnierze z kordonu reprezentacyjnego z 56 flagami reprezentującymi wszystkie stany i wszystkie terytoria Stanów Zjednoczonych, także dosłownie za kilka minut Zełenski limuzyną powinien tu przyjechać. Będzie witany przez samego Donalda Trumpa, tak jak przywódcy Francji i Wielkiej Brytanii w tym tygodniu. No a potem będzie spotkanie w gabinecie owalnym, będą odpowiadać na pytania dziennikarzy w języku podpisania tej ramowej umowy, ale z tego, co przed chwilą się dowiedziałem, to nie sami prezydenci, tylko ministrowie skarbu i finansów ze strony amerykańskiej i Ukrainy to porozumienie ramowe podpiszą, bo jest to takie wstępne porozumienie. Ono mówi o współpracy w wydobyciu minerałów i eksploatacji złożonych węglowych Ukrainy, ale to nie jest jeszcze ostateczne porozumienie, nie ma tutaj także gwarancji bezpieczeństwa dla Ukrainy. No ale z punktu widzenia Donalda Trumpa jest to duże osiągnięcie, bo on może powiedzieć swoim wyborcom: popatrzcie, Joe Biden dawał pieniądze Ukrainie, Trump powtarza tę liczbę 350 miliardów dolarów, która jest znacznie zawyżona, no ale może powiedzieć swoim wyborcom: zobaczcie, ja odzyskuję także pieniądze, nie tylko daję Ukrainie. I myślę, że muszę już kończyć, bo słychać już limuzynę prezydenta Zełenskiego.
Don't they take up their flags first?
Yeah, I know.
Time,
Listening to the sounds.
Oh, okay. down there a long time. I would have been, you know, I would have fallen over already.
I read bicycle, so I have some.
Oh, that's what it is. There's a super nice race in Sweden. It's 300 kilometers. Yeah, I did it a few years back. It was fun. It took me many hours. Took me, and it starts in the middle of the night. I got it. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes. It took me like 15 hours. Started at midnight, and I finished at 3 p.m. the day after. I was gonna say, yeah. Can you take a quick picture? Laying down. Laying down. Thank you, Misha. Thanks.
Last ones I couldn't see, but
Perfect, thanks. Deals. It really feels like that, yeah. You decide.
Mr. President, do you think it's going to be a good meeting, sir?
President Trump, what's your message to Vladimir Putin, sir?
Пане президенте, як настрій?
President Trump, do you have a message for Vladimir Putin as you meet with President Zelensky today?
You applied for something, didn't you?
Couldn't hear though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Owen, did he show thumbs up? Like, I mean,
At some point it did, but I'm not sure when that exactly was.
All right, well, I'll go in. There you go.
Sorry, buddy.
You can go this way, and we're gonna meet right back there. Of course.
Dobra, już uciekam.
notice the most on Denmark and the voices of
泽连斯基本次来访白宫之后，能够停战并且实质的相信。
Oh, I see. This word.
泽连斯基本次来访白宫之后，能够促成停战并且维持乌克兰长期的和平。美国领导人华裔在白宫和他人采访。
That's like the rare case.
people united will never be defeated. The 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 people united will never be defeated. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
Sorry, can I be slightly to the right? Thank you, I appreciate it.
Go vote. Vote them out.
Sure. All right. Everybody, we need your support. Sing with us if you can hear us. Okay. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. One foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. One foot in front of the other and lead with love. Don't you give up.
Don't you give up.
You're not alone.
You're not alone.
Just look ahead.
Just look ahead. Keep moving on. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. One foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love.
Lift up your eyes.
Lift up your eyes.
Don't you despair.
Don't you despair.
Just look ahead.
Just look ahead.
The path is there.
You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love.
I know you're scared.
I know you're scared.
And I'm scared too. But here I am. Right next to you.
Right next to you. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. And lead with love.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for being here. My name's Donald. I'm a civil servant here
USAID. Thank you all for being here for 2 days to support USAID staff as they've been packing up their belongings, as they've been walking out. Very emotional couple of days here, right? We wanted to gather you folks at the end of this period, towards the end. So let me turn the mic up a little. We wanted to organize you all towards the end of that to say we grieved for USAID, and now we're thinking about what comes next for our country, what comes next for our federal workers. We feel here that we are the first domino to fall, but that this is a national issue, and this is an issue related to the Constitution of the United States. It's an issue related to the fundamental system of our federal government. We're going to keep turning the mic up until it won't go up anymore. Anybody can turn it up anymore? They're saying louder. That's as loud as it goes. All right, this is what we have. Keep encouraging me, all right? So I'm going to MC this event. I might speak a little bit at the end as well, but we have a lot of illustrious leaders from USAID and some leaders from the AFG Union that are going to speak here. So we have a series of remarks, and then in between, we welcome any chance, we welcome the good energy. The one note I want to make is that as staff exit this door, if they do, we're going to interrupt things, we're going to clap for them as they come out. I think most of them are going to go around the backside, and they're getting a lot of support there. But the intention is not that this should diminish those last few rounds of staff and the support we show, but that this should bolster them as they go back out into the world and figure out what's next, okay? So, thank you all very much, again, for your support, for all the love you've shown. It's been a very emotional couple of days. First, I'm going to turn the microphone over to Brian Atwood, former USAID administrator.
Thank you very much, everybody, for coming out today. This is just a really sad occasion. I know there are many people in the audience here who probably only remember me, but about 25 years ago, we had to fight like hell to keep AID alive, and we managed to do that until this very day. Those who work for AID are the very best of what America is all about. We understand the values that we hold dear. As the former President Biden said, you know, this country is an idea, and a sacred idea that has, for many, many years, led the world in the right direction. We have very serious questions now as to which direction we are heading. But I just want to say one thing about the situation we're in now. If there's a silver lining, it is that we have journalists covering this event, we have people writing articles. The American people are finally coming to an understanding of what AID is all about. It's all about saving lives. It's about, if you will, some people like to call it soft power. I call it hard pragmatism. It's about what we are doing in the world to make it a better place. It isn't rocket science, and yet we have a rocket scientist who has not a clue about what he's doing. Not a clue. I'm not going to speak very long today because it's quite obvious that there are emotions here, and I'm not sure I can control mine for much longer. I really have come to love the people of USAID. I've met with them all over the world. I've seen the people that we help. I've seen the young children that are alive today because of AID's work. I know that the work that we do overseas helps Americans too. I mean, it's just amazing to me that we could go through a pandemic that started many, many miles away and doesn't know any borders, and yet we've foregone the opportunity to protect ourselves against infectious disease. We've allowed our famine early warning system to go dark so that we can no longer tell when the rest of the world will be confronted with a famine. We can't provide the food aid that is necessary. We can't provide the humanitarian relief that is necessary in places like Sudan, the worst humanitarian crisis in the world today. We can't do these things because AID has basically been dismantled to this point. But believe me, the fight isn't over. We still have the possibility. We still have the possibility that a few Republicans will come to our aid, people that understand this program and know it well. And the continuing resolution is coming up. It may well be that, unfortunately, compared to the fight that we had previously, that we will be a part of the State Department. But as long as there is a firewall so that development assistance can be used for development purposes, then that might not be such a bad conclusion. We just need to figure out how we continue to fight along and to maintain an institution that has been so valuable to the American people. It's a reflection of who we are as a nation. Thank you all for coming out today.
Thank you so much, former administrator. And now we're going to turn to a former deputy administrator from a different administration, a different perspective and time and place, but also a strong supporter. Here's James Kimball.
My name is Jim Kunder, and I had the privilege of serving in 3 Republican administrations here. What strikes me about this is a little historical perspective. I used to work for a guy by the name of Ronald Reagan, who famously said, "A starving child knows no politics." A starving child knows no politics, and now I've come to live in a Republican administration that apparently is willing to starve any number of children around the world to score a few cheap political points with its base. So we're standing here in front of the Ronald Reagan building, of course, where USAID is headquartered, and right there for the cameras was where somebody defaced the federal building a couple of weeks ago by chiseling the USAID sign off of the building. I wonder who authorized that and what expenditure of public funds was justified to deface the federal building. But what really bothers me about this building right now is that inside, just 100 feet from where we are, is the memorial to the dozens of USAID officers who died for our country, patriotic Americans who died in the hardest working environments in the world. They are memorialized on a plaque which is now blocked from public view by black shrouding. So I have a request for Elon Musk and the president. It's just a short ride over here from the White House. They ought to get in the car, come over here, and look at those dozens of names up on the wall of USAID officers. I just have one last point, because you've been out here in the cold. In addition to working for USAID, I've worked for another part of the U.S. government. I served in the United States Marine Corps as an infantry officer. And I tend to look at USAID's role in terms of national security as well. And so right now, we're pulling out of the strategic South Pacific Islands, where USAID is the only game in town to prevent Chinese dominance. So if people really cared about making America strong and making America secure, why in the hell would they be ending USAID? And I think it's very, very symbolic that Elon Musk and his children's crusade are turning this space over to the Department of Homeland Security. Why? Because in stripping USAID people off of the front lines around the world where they're battling threats to our security, sure as hell the Department of Homeland Security is going to have more business right here in the United States of America. So listen, one last request. This is all up to the United States Congress. The United States Congress has got to do its constitutional duty. Call your senator. Call your representative. Don't give up the fight. USAID is one of the best strategic ideas America ever had. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And now we're going to introduce Susan Reichley, the former counselor at USAID, the senior foreign service officer.
It's hard to follow our former administrator and our former deputy administrator, but I want to say to all of you, we see you. Thank you. Everybody who is here, we see you around the world and what you are doing. Listen to this. This is not just a pass in the night. This is more than 6 decades of your work that has mattered, that has made a difference. You have not only saved lives from the Green Revolution to the discovery of ORT, oral rehydration therapy, you have done big things. And I know you will continue to do big things because that's what America is about. We are about saving lives. We are about protecting America, our national interests. That is why President Kennedy created USAID, the Peace Corps, and so many institutions that we know and we love. And we are going to keep fighting for USAID. This is not done. And to our colleagues overseas, around the embassies in the world, our partners, all of our partners who are suffering so much, our local partners who have placed so much confidence in the United States of America, we are here. We are not backing down. We are too strong. We are here for you. We are going to keep fighting. So please, this community that has been built and that will continue long after they take this building back, because guess what? Buildings don't matter. We don't care about real estate, do we? No, we're not in the business of real estate. We're in the business of saving lives and our national interests. So have this building. We're staying together because we are all about development. And there are the 3 Ds: development, diplomacy, and defense. And guess what? We're not giving up, and none of you clearly are giving up. We got to keep strong, keep fighting, and I will pass the mic back. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Susan. And now I'm going to introduce Chris, also a former counselor at USAID.
Thank you. We are USA, and we are proud. We are USA, we are proud. We are USA, we are proud. We are USA, we are proud. But this is about more than USA. This is about our democracy. This is about the world's richest man eroding our institutions and bringing dishonor to our country. This is about our values, which are being denigrated. This is about 94% of assistance programs being turned off. This is about humanitarian assistance that got a waiver that is now being turned off. This is about people dying. What a legacy. Which is the criminal organization here? This is about our institutions. Where are you, Congress? Speak up. Do your job. This is about American leadership. It's about our place in the world. It's about supporting democracies, not canceling the programs that hold out light for those under oppression. It's about building a better world. As Susan said, USAID is not this building. USAID are the values we all have. Values that unite us. Values based on human dignity. Yes! No one can take that from you.
No one.
No one.
No one.
So we are USA, and we are proud.
Thanks so much, Chris. Next up, we're going to invite Johnny Walsh, a former senior leader here at USAID and my former boss in the Middle East Bureau.
Thank you, Dan. I feel like such an imperfect vessel for this. I'm nowhere near as illustrious as the people you just heard from. But I've also just watched my friends, my colleagues, all of these heroes, these patriotic, creative, strategic American heroes walk out of the building, carrying their boxes in images that I hope will last for generations. And we all have to do something, right? I got into this business because I was raised Catholic and taught to be a good Christian and to live by actual words that Jesus said. And it's only human that that means a different thing to all of us. But if there's one matter of policy that I think Jesus could not have been more clear on, it's only one thing. It's help the poor. Help the poor. This behind us, this is the main way our society, our government helps the poor all over the world. And those principles have abandoned us today at the highest levels of leadership. But there is so much belief in what this stood for. I'll just share that the first time I encountered USAID, long before I came to work here, I was serving in Iraq for others, and I encountered these USAID officers in the furthest, most dangerous parts of the country, as far out as any soldier or intelligence officer. And they didn't have a gun, but by their ingenuity, by their local contacts, and a USAID officer's natural instinct for how to make a few dollars go a very long way, they were turning the entire Sunni insurgency to our side. They were saving lives every day, American and Iraqi. And that's so representative of what's best about this building. I was lucky enough to get to go to work for USAID when Samantha Power was the administrator here. I got to work with the democracy team that was advancing our democratic values all over the world. It's been so hideously maligned, but this is the place, this is the organization that has stood up for people fighting for freedom, for free speech, for human decency, for civil society. And then I got to work on the Middle East, in the Middle East office, just until recently. And I was thinking, as the Syrian revolution happened, when that war started, before the untold suffering happened there, it was so easy for people to make the argument that it doesn't matter, like it's far away, it doesn't affect our core interests. And then that war gave rise to the most dangerous terrorist group in history and to the refugee crisis that upended Europe. USAID has been there to help, has stuck with Syria all that time. There's a moment of such huge opportunity to save lives and help American interests at the same time. And I don't sense that in the decisions that have happened to shut down USAID, that kind of consideration has remotely entered into the calculus of the people who made this choice. And so it can be such a dark moment, and none of us wants to give in to that. Nope. And I can hear it in everyone who came out here, in every car horn that honks in support, in the cheers for every hero who walks out of the building right now. I think it's the PLR Bureau at this moment. And if there's a thing I take heart from, it's that every one of these people walking out, they are as patriotic and moral and creative and strategic as they were 3 months ago. And they are going to go on to long futures. This was just the beginning of a very difficult period where what started as an attack on USAID has become an attack on the whole federal service. Let's keep going. We are all going to fight. And thank you so much for coming out for these thoroughly decent people. Let's keep this momentum going for as long as we possibly can, because there's real energy here. Thank you so much for coming, and God bless USAID.
Thanks so much, Johnny. Now we've heard a lot from USAID leaders. We're going to hear now from Dave Cann of the American Federation of Government Employees, the national, not the local. That's my union, and he's going to talk about how this goes beyond just USAID.
Dear brothers and sisters from USA, I am here with AFGE representing 800,000 federal employees, including USA. And you will not allow
You are not alone. This is an awful moment, and I want to be here with you to talk about it briefly in regards to the past, the present, and the future. For over 90 years, your union has been fighting to protect and strengthen federal employees. There have been dozens of attacks on federal workers and their rights on the job. The last Trump administration saw attacks on your local and your union, and you came out stronger than before. Right now, there is an attack on federal employees, including USAID. This is an attack on Americans who serve Americans, and in your case, serve Americans through serving the most vulnerable people in the world. It is disgusting, it is cowardly, it is based on ignorance, and it will not stand. That's right. 800,000 federal employees, including USAID workers, are fighting this in the courts, and we're winning. Last night, the court said that the termination of probationary employees across the federal government was impermissible. That's your union, that's your power. We've had temporary restraining orders that have lasted, we've had temporary restraining orders that haven't. We're not going to win every battle. And today is proof that we're not going to win every step of the game. But this fight goes 90 years into the past and it goes into the future. The work you do is work that comes from your caring and your compassion and your love for other people. As one of the previous speakers said, that's not going anywhere. That's real estate that won't move. And the mission that needs to be achieved that you've done will not move. We will continue to fight in the courts. We will continue to fight in the streets. 800,000 federal employees, including USAID, will continue fighting forward. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Dave, and thanks to AFG for looking out for us. We appreciate it, and us looking out together. We've heard from a number of senior leaders. We're now going to hear from, not a senior leader, a dear friend of mine, Miley, who was terminated as one of the contractors of USAID. It takes a lot of courage to get up here after that lineup that we've had, after a lot of experienced speakers. But she said to me this morning that she's feeling motivated to do something and to do this. So please give a round of applause for Miley. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I wrote some thoughts down last night to process the events of today and, frankly, the events of every day since the day I was furloughed 32 days ago, with no actual goal of speaking today. This crowd, this energy, this movement has encouraged me to do so today. Although, like Dan mentioned, it is hard to follow the speakers before me, I'd like to share with you what I wrote. I stared at this blank page for a long time, just as we stare at this blank keystone above the USAID entrance today, wondering what I could possibly say to meet the moment. While I may be upset about the loss of my job and those of my colleagues, enraged over the complete disregard of a key part of the national security equation, and sickened by the waste of humanitarian assistance, this represents something so much bigger than that. USAID is the first domino to fall in an active effort to circumvent constitutional processes. As an American who is proud of the land that raised me, I can understand holding out hope that checks and balances will suddenly reappear. I can understand being optimistic in hopes that the America we all once knew will appear again. I can understand wanting to believe that those in power in our government are not this malicious. But what do I say? What can I say that will affect the narrative and effectively communicate these points to those who just don't see it? Again, I return to this blank page. After all, I'm a nobody. Who's going to listen to me? I am one low-level contractor who lost her job after a very brief career at USAID compared to a lot of those standing around me today. But all groups who are somebodies started as nobodies. All movements started somewhere. Every resistance had an origin point. For the people, by the people. We are the people. We are the ones that need to stand up against these unconstitutional acts. I urge us to look past the cloaks of government efficiency and taxpayers' interests and consider what is really being done here. Think about what you want for this nation and the ideals upon which it was founded. For a little pop culture reference, to quote Jane Fonda's recent acceptance speech, we are living in the documentary. Can we meet the moment? Thank you all so much for being here today.
That was really great, Miley. Very moving to meet you. Miley's been my colleague for her entire time at AID, and it's pretty cool to see her up here too. Now it's my turn. I'll be the last speaker of today. And before I start, I think I'll lose in the flow. A lot of federal workers are showing up at the Senate. Fired federal workers, terminated federal workers. Tuesday is going to be a big day for that. So any of you who have been terminated or know those who have, please encourage folks to show up for that action on Tuesday. So I've said to myself on Monday, you know, I'm feeling energized by this, not depressed yet. But I never imagined in 5 days later I'd be standing up here like this. And I've been asking myself all day, how did I come to be in this position? It's not a comfortable, natural position for a civil servant. We're used to working right up there. We're used to working at our desks. We're used to being behind the scenes, and that's been my career most of my time. I started out as a child growing up in a very small town in rural Ohio, 900 people, Grand Rapids, Ohio. And I was as sort of white bread upbringing as you can imagine, right? I was literally an altar boy, literally a Boy Scout, okay? And as Johnny mentioned, what did I learn in church? I learned that Jesus puts the poorest first, the poorest and most vulnerable first. What did I learn in the Boy Scouts? I learned the value of service, and I learned the importance of going out past the horizon of comfort in order to do that service. What did I learn in grade school in Grand Rapids Elementary School? I learned to pledge allegiance to the Republic, and I learned about the founding principles of this country and the checks and balances that uphold our entire system of government. And so here, before I fast forward 20 years, I show up at USAID. How perfect for a rule follower like me. Lots and lots of rules. You got to have a security clearance. Every dollar we're tracking, every record has to be carefully attended to. But I also get to travel the world. I get to help people when I travel the world, and I get to do that on behalf of the people that I grew up with back in rural Ohio. Okay, and throughout my thank you. And throughout my 10 years as a civil servant here, I know that those folks have been proud of me, and they've been proud of me because they know that I'm doing their work, right?
We're proud of you.
Thank you. And they know that I'm doing their work, and they know that, and I'm able to articulate the value of USAID's work, right? And I've been able to articulate that value not just back home, but also here in Washington, because that's a lot of what we do. To Republican and Democratic administrations, in the first Trump administration, had a very successful period in my career working with the administration to make sure that we carved our work and our message to reflect their needs. We expected more of that this time. That's not what we got. On Capitol Hill with Republicans and Democrats alike, making absolutely sure every minute of every day that our work reflects the democratic will of the American people, and if it doesn't, changing course very quickly. That has been the primary way that I see my role here, okay? That all went away. $40 billion, or nearly $40 billion went away over the course of the last couple of weeks, right? This is work, as you all know intimately and have heard from other speakers, this is life-saving work. It's all life-saving if you look at the horizon long enough, right? The democratic stabilization work, the work to build resilience, it's all life-saving, and it's all pretty much all gone. And so I'm reflecting now and saying, what can I do? I learned those lessons there. I came here. I applied those lessons. And one of the things, the very first thing I did is I swore an oath to the Constitution. Okay? And that oath, it talks about defending against enemies both domestic and foreign. And now my computer's been turned off. My office has been closed. And I'm thinking to myself, what elements of my mission here can I still uphold? Okay, love to be getting back to work, and much kudos to those folks in our humanitarians who are still working, those few. But the one part of that mission that I can still uphold is that defense of the Constitution, and that's really what I feel. Thank you. And that's really what I feel is at stake right now, and the reason that I decided to take this risk. Right, again, not so typical to be up in front as a civil servant, and so in that spirit, myself and many colleagues have decided that it's time to do something more. We're doing something more, and that I've tried to find strength in the love and support that you've all shown. And all right, I have the oath here in front of me, and so I think we'll reaffirm that oath in just a moment here. But just to kind of conclude what I was planning to say here, I've taken strength in the love and support from that community, and I've thought, what message would I be giving back to that community in Ohio? Okay, and I would be saying, some of you may feel more or less strong about the work of foreign assistance. You may need to be convinced, right? But one thing that's absolutely certain is that this is not an attack on me. It's not an attack on this agency. It's an attack on the democratic principles that underpin the United States government. And why is that? It's because their representatives voted for this funding, Republican and Democrat alike. It's because their representatives over the years established USAID, continue to appropriate funding for USAID. Their representatives voted for the nominees to the courts that have placed the orders on USAID. The USAID is now rejected. And so, yes, USAID is important. Yes, the work we do is important. Yes, we as civil servants are important. But the message I would take back to them is that the American people are under attack in a very fundamental way right now. And that USAID is the canary in the coal mine, and that canary is gasping for breath. Yes. And I heard a lot of optimism from my colleagues here that it may not be over, and I agree with that optimism. And that's why I'm standing up here today. And so I hope that that message gets out, not just to those of us who've always been supporters, but also those skeptics, right? This is about a lot more at stake than just federal workers, and that's a lot by itself. And so I was just handed the card for the oath to the Constitution, and so I think we're going to say it here together. But yeah, I think we're going to say it here together. So I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States. Against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I take this obligation freely.
The United States of America, and for the good of the world. I'm aligned with the world, and I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred, and I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way, so that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
Hey, I want to respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact line?
2015.
2014 and 2014.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
that's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, Yeah, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed with him with gas contract. Gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the President for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Count once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems, even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
that.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on
position
this
to
question.
dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly what
this.
you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. But right now, you don't. You're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once? This
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country is in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
You invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak-
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3 days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell you.
just say thank you.
I said a lot of times thank you to American people.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's
I
very
understand.
important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't, please,
you're running
Mr.
low on
President.
soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, If you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you'd take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
with guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't with me.
For you what,
that
what
wasn't with me.
means.
That was with a guy named Biden who was not a smart person. That was with Obama.
It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make, because the attitudes have to change.
What if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do we do then? I understand that it's a heated conversation right now.
What are you saying?
She's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now? Okay? What if they broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden, because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is, I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right, I think we've seen enough. What do you think? Huh? This is going to be great television, I will say that. All right. We'll see what we can do about putting it together. Thank you, sir.
I need the back of the
We'll see. I don't know.
All right, guys, come on. Wait, hey, guys, come on. Let's move, please.
Thank you.
Right here.
thank you very much. It's an honor to have President Zelensky of Ukraine, and we've been working very hard, very close. So we've actually known each other for a long time. We've been dealing with each other for a long time, and very well. We had a little negotiation spat, but that worked out great. I think for both countries, I think for the world, actually, beyond both countries. And we have something that is a very fair deal. And we look forward to getting in and digging and working and getting some of the rare earth. But it means we're going to be inside, and it's a big commitment from the United States, and we appreciate working with you very much. And we will continue to do that. We have had some very good discussions with Russia. I spoke with President Putin, and we're going to try and bring this to a close. It's something that you want and that he wants. We have to negotiate a deal, but we've started the confines of a deal, and I think something can happen. The big thing is the number of soldiers, mostly at this point, but soldiers being killed. You're losing thousands of soldiers. So on both sides, we're losing a lot of soldiers, and we want to see it stop, and we want to see the money get put to different kinds of use, like rebuilding, and we're going to be working very hard. But we've had a lot of very good conversations. I will say, until we came along, the Biden administration didn't speak to Russia whatsoever. They didn't speak to anybody. They just allowed this to continue. And I will say that, I'll say in front of you, you've heard me say it 1,000 times, if I were president, this war would have never happened. We would have had a deal negotiated for you without having to go through what you've gone through. But your soldiers have been unbelievably brave. We've given them great equipment, but somebody has to use the equipment. They've been unbelievably brave, and we give them great credit. This was supposed to be over very quickly, and here we are 3 years later. So I give tremendous credit to your generals and your soldiers and yourself, in the sense that it's been very hard fighting, very tough fighting. They're great fighters, and you have to be very proud of them from that standpoint. But now we want to get it over with. It's enough, right? We want to get it over with. So it's an honor to have you here. Thank you very much for coming. We're going to sign the agreement at the conference in the East Room in a little while, right after lunch. And we'll be having lunch together. We're also discussing some other things, and we appreciate everybody being here. It's somewhat of an exciting moment, but the really exciting moment is when they stop the shooting and we end up with a deal. And I think we're fairly close to getting that, and an honor to have you. And please, would you like to say something?
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. President. Thank you for the invitation. And really, I hope that this first document will be first step to real security guarantees for Ukraine, our people, our children. I really count on it. And of course, we count that America will not stop support. Really, for us, it's very important to support and to continue it. I want to discuss it with details further during our conversation, and of course, the infrastructure or security guarantees. Because for today, I understand what Europe is ready to do. And of course, I want to discuss with you what the United States will be ready to do. And I really count on your strong position to stop Putin. And you said that enough with the war. I think that is very important, Ben, to say these words to Putin at the very beginning of war, because he is a killer and terrorist. But I hope that together we can stop him. But for us, it's very important to, to save our country, our values, our freedom and democracy, and of course, no compromises with the killer about our territories, but it will be later. And of course, what I wanted, we spoke about it by phone with you about the drones production. We have very good drones production. I think the best one in the world for today because of the war. Yes, and of course, we need very much the air defense. You have the best air defense in the world, and really you helped us under attacks of Russians, and I want to speak how we can exchange the licenses. We're open to share the licenses of all our drones with you, of course, with the United States, and we need licenses for quick production of air defense. Even after the war, we need our nation to be calm, that we are secure. So that's why we need this air shield. And of course, about this I want to speak about the contingents. I think that France and UK already spoke to you, and we know that Europe is ready, but without the United States, they will not be ready to be as strong as we need. And the last point, last not least, about exchange, about our people and children. And you know that these crazy Russians, that they stolen 20,000 of children, Ukrainian children. They changed their names, they changed their, their families, relatives, and now they're in Russia. We want to bring them back, and really, it's a big, big dream, task, and goal for me, and our warriors. By the way, Mr. President, we exchanged, released more than 4,000 warriors from Russian prison, but there are thousands more in the prison. I wanted to share with you some images. How it's, I've just can I now?
Yeah, please.
Please. 1 minute. Just you to understand in what circumstances, in what situation they are, and what the attitude of Russia to our prisoners. That guys, just you before and after. And you see before and after, just you to understand. Now thousands of such guys, ladies and men, there, and that, so they don't eat, they beat them, and they, do a lot of bad things. So out of, even during the war, there are rules. Everybody knows there are rules during the war. So these guys, they don't have any rules. You see that, 50, 60 kilograms left, and a lot of such things. And I didn't want to show you what the changes with images of children, because I will just share with you. And I mean, it's looking tragic.
Yep, that's tough stuff.
Yeah, I wanted very much to give you, and you see.
Yeah.
This is pastor, by the way. They stolen pastors because it's not Russian church. They stolen pastors and moved pastors to the prison. At the end of last year, we brought 3 pastors, and we could exchange them. And this is pastor, you see.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. So I mean, this I wanted to show you, and this. So thank you very much.
We want to get that ended, right?
Yeah. Of course, we
and
want.
I think we will. And
we have to, of course.
Do you have any questions, please?
Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. With the, how much money is the U.S. going to put into the fund that is being created today, and how does this provide long-term security for Ukraine?
Well, we don't know exactly how much, because we're going to be putting some money in a fund that we're going to get from the raw earth that we're going to be taking and sharing in terms of revenue. So it's going to be a lot of money will be made from the sale and from the use of raw earth. And as you know, our country doesn't have much raw earth. We have a lot of oil and gas, but we don't have a lot of the raw earth. And what we do have is protected by the environmentalists, but that can be unprotected, but still it's not very much. They have among the best in the world in terms of raw earth. So we're going to be using that, using it for all of the things we do, including AI, and including weapons and the military, and it's really going to very much satisfy our needs. So it's something that just worked out really well. We have a lot of oil, and we have a lot of gas, we have a lot, but we don't have raw earth. So this has just about every component of the raw earth that we need for computers, for all of the things we do. This puts us in great shape.
And on long-term security for Ukraine, how does this provide?
I think they're going to have great luck. I think once we make the agreement, that's going to be 95% of it. They're not going to go back to fighting. I've spoken with President Putin, and I feel very strong. I've known him for a long time, and I feel very strongly that they're very serious about it, and we'll make a deal. And when the deal is made, I don't think, we talk about security. Everyone's talking about the other day, all they talked about was security. I said, let me make the deal first. I have to make the deal first. I don't worry about security right now. We have to have a deal, because right now, last week, 2,000 soldiers died on both sides. 2,000, and they're losing 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 a week. So as we sit here and we talk, people are getting shot and dying on the battlefield. And you know, they're not American soldiers, but they're Russian soldiers and they're Ukrainian soldiers, and we want to be able to stop it. And we want to be able also to spend money on other things. We don't want to, this is a tremendous amount of money. And what the Biden administration did was terrible. They were giving money, but he had no security on the money. Europe, as you know, gave much less money, but they had security. It was in the form of a loan. They get their money back, and we didn't. And now, at least we're protected because the American taxpayer has to be protected too. But this is an incredible agreement for Ukraine because we have a big investment in their country now, and what they have, very few people have. And we're able to really go forward with very, very high-tech things and many other things, including weaponry that we're going to use in many locations, but that we need for our country.
Mr. President,
this allows us to do that.
Will you continue?
I'm sorry.
Sending military aid?
Yes, go ahead, please.
If I can just, yes. In the document, there is one of the very important points. If we speak about business and investment, we never had LNG terminals in Ukraine. This document will open. I mean, the next document, but anyway, here we see in the framework, we see really goodwill for this. LNG terminals for us is very important, and I think for security of European continent. We have the biggest storage, gas storage. We have the biggest in Europe. Yes, yes, and we can use it. Use it for LNG. Use it for LNG, and we will do it. And really, we can help Europe because Europe really helped. President Trump said that they made less support, but they are our friends and they are our very supportive partners. They really gave a lot, Mr. President. They did.
They gave a lot, but they gave much less.
No.
Much less.
No.
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 Okay.
Okay.
Mr. President, what do you like to see the president with Putin and President Zelensky?
Mr. President Trump, you have repeatedly called the deal with Ukraine as a historical one. And as a President of the United States, you make historical decisions in other issues which affect America and other world. So what place in the world history do you want to take? And do you associate yourself with any famous historical figures?
Yeah, I'd say George Washington, Abraham Lincoln. I would say I'm far superior to George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. Now, you know I'm only kidding, right? Because when I say that, the fake news is going to go wild. They're going to say he considers himself to be better than Washington. But you never know. You never know. I don't compare myself to anybody. I'm here to do a job. We've had a great 35 days or whatever it might be, a month, a little more than a month. We've accomplished tremendous amounts. Not only this would be a very great achievement if we could get the war stopped and get them back to normalization. I think that's going to happen. We've had very good talks on both sides, as you know. But I think we've done a very good job, just generally. If you look at all of the things we've done in 30 days, they're saying there's never been a opening for a president. The first month, there's never been a first month like we've had. And this is one of the very important things. This, to me, is one of the most important things because we have tremendous death taking place as we speak, and I don't want to have that. You know, think of the parents, whether they're in Russia or Ukraine, think of the parents of all these people being killed needlessly.
They came to our territory.
Should have never started. This would have, if I were president, this would have never started.
Mr. President, where has allowed your invasion? Mr. President, will you continue sending military aid to Ukraine after the U.S. signs this agreement with Ukraine?
Yeah, we're going to be continuing.
To President Zelensky, do you feel like the U.S. is on your side? That the President Trump is on your side at this moment?
Right.
What do you think?
He wants to know, do you think that, sort of a stupid question. I guess we wouldn't be here if I wasn't.
I think that the United States on our side from the very beginning of occupation, and I think that President Trump on our side, and of course, I'm sure that the United States President will not stop support. This is crucial for us. It's important for us. Yes. And Putin, the president speaks about the people and the soldiers which are dying, but they came to our territory, they came to our land. They began this war, and they have to stop. And I think this is the question, with really the most important question. Can President Trump, I hope yes, with some other allies, to stop Putin, withdraw these enemies, our enemy, withdraw these troops from our land? And I think that you asked about the history, I think that if President, or when, he will stop Putin, if President Trump will bring peace to our country, I think he will be on this wall.
We've had very, very good talks.
Mr. President Zelensky just said that there would be no compromises with Vladimir Putin. I just wanted to ask both of you, firstly, are there compromises that you think that President Zelensky is going to have to make? And President Zelensky, is there anything that you think you may be able to offer or bring to the table, for example, elections? Thank you.
I think you're going to have to always make compromises. You can't do any deals without compromises. So certainly he's going to have to make some compromises, but hopefully they won't be as big as some people think you're going to have to make. That's all. That's all we can do. I'm here as an arbitrator, as a mediator to a certain extent between two parties that have been very hostile, to put it mildly. They've been very hostile. This has been a vicious war. This has been a vicious war. You know, it's a very level battlefield, and those bullets go out, and as I've said many times, we were talking about it with Pete, many times the only thing stopping those bullets is a human body. And in the case we're talking about, generally young human bodies are stopping a lot of bullets. It's dead level. That's why it's great farmland. It's great land. It's great farmland, but there's very little protection against the bullets that are being, and other things that are being shot. So all I can do is see if I can get everybody at the table and get an agreement. And I think we're going to end up with an agreement. Otherwise, I wouldn't probably be even here today.
Mr. President, I've got two questions for you. You think ultimately your legacy will be the peacemaker and not the president that led this country into another war and ended foreign wars? And I've got a question.
I hope it will. I mean, I hope I'm going to be remembered as a peacemaker. This would be a great thing if we could do this. I'm doing this to save lives more than anything else. Second is to save a lot of money, but I consider that to be far less important. So I hope I'm going to, thank you, Brian, for that question. It was a nice question. I hope I'll be known and recognized as a peacemaker. This would be a great thing to solve. This is a very dangerous situation. You know, this could lead to a third world war. This was headed in the wrong direction. If this election were lost, if we didn't win this election, and we won it by a lot, that was a mandate. We won every swing state. We won the popular vote by millions and millions of votes. We won everything. The districts, you look at the areas of red, take a look at a map. This was a big mandate, and this was one of the things. I said, we're going to get this thing settled. If we didn't win, I think this could have very well ended up in a third world war, and that would not have been a good situation. What was your second question?
And my second question for President Zelensky, why don't you wear a suit? You're at the highest, why don't you wear a suit? You're at the highest level in this country's office, and you refuse to wear a suit. Just want to see if do you own a suit?
Yeah, problems.
A lot of Americans have problems with you not respecting the dignity of this office.
I will wear a costume after this war will finish.
Okay.
Yes, maybe
something
like yours. Yes.
That'd be great.
Maybe something better. I don't know. We will see. Maybe something cheaper than. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
President Trump. Thank you, President Trump. You said yesterday that you have.
Are you going to send more arms to Ukraine in case there's no peace?
Yeah, we're going to have arms to Ukraine. Yeah, sure. Hopefully, I won't have to send very much, because hopefully we're going to have it finished. We're looking forward to finishing this quickly. We're not looking forward to sending a lot of arms. We're looking forward to getting the war finished so we can do other things. But we very much appreciate the agreement, because we needed what they had, and we're treating, you know, our country is now treated fairly. Biden didn't do that. He didn't know what the hell he was doing. This should have never happened. This should have never started. But you know, sure, the answer is yes, but hopefully we won't have to send much, because I'm looking forward to getting it done quickly, very quickly.
Does that mean you'll provide security guarantees, Mr. President?
I don't want to talk about security yet, because I want to get the deal done. You know, you fall into the same trap like everybody else. A million times you say it over and over. I want to get the deal done. Security is so easy. That's about 2% of the problem. I'm not worried about security. I'm worried about getting the deal done. The security is the easy part. Security is very nice. Everybody stopped shooting. And now will Europe put people there? I know France is going to. I know the UK is going to. I know other countries are going to, and they happen to be right next door. We haven't committed, but we could conceivably. You know, we have security in a different form. We'll have workers there digging, taking the raw earth so that we can create a lot of great product in this country. So in that sense, you have something, but we haven't determined that yet. I will say, in speaking to France and in speaking to, and they were here, as you know, last week and just the other day, they have committed to a lot of security. I don't think you're going to need much security. I think once this deal gets done, it's over. Russia's not going to want to go back, and nobody's going to want to go back. When this deal ends, I really believe this deal is going to be over. Question? Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you. Mr. President, thank you. You had Mr. Macron and Keir Starmer at the White House this past week, both of whom praised your courage and conviction to lead the pathway towards peace.
Yes.
Part of that involved, though, re-engaging Russia in diplomatic relations, something that previous leaders lacked the conviction to do so. What gave you the moral courage and conviction to step forward and lead that?
Well, I love this guy. Who are you with?
One American News, sir.
Well, that's why I like him. One American News does a great job. I like the question. I think it's a very good question. It's a pathway to peace. It's a pathway to getting something solved. And I feel that as the head of this country, I have an obligation to do that. Plus, you know, we're very much involved. We got involved. It's too bad we got involved, because there should have been no involvement, because there should have been no war. And there shouldn't have been October 7th. That would have never happened. As you know, Iran was broke. They had no money to give to Hezbollah. They had no money to give to Hamas. They were stone cold broke. And then under Biden, they became rich as hell. They went from no money to $300 billion in a period of 4 years. And they gave a lot of that money away, and you see what happened. And that's a real mess also that we hope to be able to solve. But no, I appreciate your question very much. I feel I have an obligation to try and do something to stop the death.
If I can answer. Yes, if I can answer.
Please,
Sorry. Please.
And I do like your clothing, by the way.
Yeah, really?
Even though I think he's a great guy, by the way. But I don't know if you two like each other. But you know what? I think he's dressed.
I like this guy.
I think he's dressed beautiful.
So I have more serious things than answer on such questions.
That's
I will
okay.
answer on more serious
That's a good
questions
statement.
if I can. Yeah. So please, about security guarantees and about just ceasefire. We can't just speak about ceasefire and speak and speak. It will not work. Just ceasefire will not never work, because I'm like a president. I have this experience, and not only me. Ukraine before my presidency, from the 2014, Putin broken 25 times. 25 times he broken his own signature. 25 times he broken ceasefire.
But he never broke to me. He never broke to me.
No, you were the president. You were the president during.
He never broke to me.
In 2016, you've been the president, Mr. President. You've been the president, but he had, of course, not with you, but he had during those periods. He had conversations with our side, and we had Normandy format. You know, the France, Germany, Ukraine, and Russia, and he broken 25 times. That's why we will never accept just ceasefire. It will not work without security guarantees. Security guarantees, maybe President is right about this document and other, but this document is not enough. Strong army is enough, because his soldiers afraid, Putin's soldiers afraid of our soldiers when we're strong enough. If we are not strong enough, if we are empty, if our storage is empty, we can't defend our land. Today, you know, he knows that we have all the world knows that we have meeting. Yes, why he's using ballistic? Putin today using ballistic on our hospitals, schools, and etc. Ballistic. So he knows that we are here and that President Trump is really have goodwill to stop this war. And you hear now the president. So why he's using? So he doesn't want to stop. He doesn't want. But I hope that we will do it. Really, we'll do it. Security. When we speak about security guarantees, when the Europeans are ready for contingents, they need USA backstop. If there will not be United States, we will not never have any contingents, strong contingents from the Europeans, because they don't want to divide alliance connection between the United States and the main and strongest ally and Europeans. And this is crucial, this is important. That's what we want to speak about very much. This is very important. And air defense. So air defense, really, we have big deficit with all these systems, and we need to provide this. We need it very much. Otherwise, Putin will never stop, and will go further and further. He doesn't want. He hates us. You know, it's not about me. He hates Ukrainians. He thinks that we are not a nation. He thinks, and he shared these thoughts. I think maybe with your team also. I don't know, but with all the Europeans, in media, officially and not, he always said that there is no such country, such nation, such language, and such life like Ukrainian. No, he really doesn't respect all the Ukrainians, and he wants to destroy us. And you are right, Mr. President. That's 2%. This document, maybe other documents, it's a very good start, very good, but it will not enough to stop this person.
Should Russia pay to rebuild Ukraine?
Mr. President, under these
Should Russia pay to rebuild Ukraine?
They have to pay.
This question
This is the rule. This is the rule of the war. This is the rule of the war. During all the centuries, all the history, this is the rule of the war. Who began, those pay. This is the rule. Putin began this war. He has to pay all money for innovation. He has to pay. Of course, some Russian assets, what we have in Europe, about 300 billion, we can use them. We can use for innovation and buy military support from the United States also. We can do it, but it's not enough. It's not enough.
President, under these circumstances, do you envision a trilateral summit with Putin and President Zelensky?
Wait 1 second.
I asked this question that you didn't like because I wanted to know if you want to position yourself in the middle between Russia and Ukraine, or on the Ukraine's side.
No, I'm in the middle. I want to solve this thing. I'm for both. I want to get it solved. And it's wonderful to speak badly about somebody else, but I want to get it solved. If we can solve it, great. If we can't solve it, they're going to have to fight it out, and who knows what's going to happen. But I want to see it get solved.
May I follow up? One more question about U.S. troops in Europe. After Russian invasion of Ukraine, your predecessor sent additional troops to Eastern Europe, including Poland, my country.
Yeah.
Are you committed to keeping these troops on the eastern flank of NATO in the future?
I'm very committed to Poland. I think Poland has really stepped up and done a great job for NATO. As you know, they paid more than they had to. They are one of the finest groups of people I've ever known. I'm very committed to Poland.
What about Baltics?
Poland's in a tough neighborhood, you know.
What about the Baltics?
The Baltics, they got a lot of, it's a tough neighborhood too, but we're committed. We're going to be very committed, and we're committed to NATO. But NATO has to step up, and the Europeans have to step up more than they have. And I want to see them equalize, because they are in for far less than we're in, and they should be at least equal. You understand that? Why is the United States, we have an ocean in between, why is the United States in for so much more money and other things as Europe? With that being said, and as you said, they've also been obviously very helpful, but we have put in far more than they have, and I think they should equalize.
Mr. President,
please go ahead.
Ask you about the agreement again today. What changed between the first time that Secretary Bessent gave President Zelensky the agreement and today for the signing?
We made a deal. So
what was the
I'm just,
deciding factor?
I'm a business person. We made a deal. That's what changed.
Mr. President,
I didn't think we were going to make a deal, and We ended up making the deal, so that changed.
Mr. President, what and how do you envision a trilateral summit with President Zelensky and Putin?
I don't know,
under
but
these
well, they
circumstances?
don't like each other, I can tell you that. Okay? They do not like each other. This is not a love match, and it's unfortunate. That's why you're in this situation. The United States should not have allowed this to happen, okay? The United States, run by a man that didn't know much, I'm going to be very nice, run by an incompetent person, very incompetent person, should never have allowed this to happen. I've stopped wars. I've stopped many wars. My people will tell you, I stopped wars that nobody ever heard about. I stopped wars before they ever started. You can look at some of, I could give you a lot of nations that would tell you right now they were probably going to war. I could tell you right now there's a nation thinking about going to war on something that nobody in this room has ever even heard about. Two smaller nations, but big, still big. And I think I've stopped it. But this should have never happened.
Sorry, just a second. About any negotiations. First of all, I want really to tell you, and I think that everybody understands that Ukraine, more than Ukrainians, nobody wants to stop this war. But at the future, any negotiations, it's understandable that two sides of the war, not Russia and the United States, because this is not the war between Russia and the United States. This is war of Russia against Ukraine and Ukrainian people. So these two sides will be at the anyway will be at the negotiation table. Then of course United States, like the strongest partner of the Ukraine, and of course Europe. I think Europe is very important. I want to speak about it with the president. Yes, Europe is very important for us because we really defend Europe for today. All Europeans really recognize that we are defending line, and they have real life, and our people are dying. That's why they helped us. And also, it's about the NATO. Yes, between, like the president said, you have big, nice ocean. Yes, between us. But if we will not stay, Russia will go further to Baltics and to Poland, by the way. But first to the Baltics. It's understandable for them because they've been in the USSR. You know, they've been one of the republics of the USSR, and Putin wants to bring them back to his empire. It's a fact. And when he will go there, if we will not stay, you will fight. Your American soldiers, it doesn't matter, do you have ocean or not, your soldiers will fight.
Mr. President, would you be willing to visit Ukraine, maybe Kyiv or Odessa, which is known to be at the riviera or Black Sea?
It was my question.
I'm sorry.
I don't want to talk about Odessa now. Let's not talk about Odessa. I want to talk about making a deal, getting peace. We don't have to talk about Odessa, but a lot of cities have been destroyed. A lot of cities that are not recognizable. There's not a building standing.
No,
and a lot of things
Mr. President, you have to come and to look. No. We have very good cities. Yes, a lot of things been destroyed, but mostly cities alive, and people work, and children go to school. Sometimes it's very difficult. Sometimes closer to front line, children have to go to underground schools or online. But we live. Ukraine is fighting, and Ukraine lives. This is very important. And maybe it's Putin is sharing this information that he destroyed us. No, he lost 700,000 people, 700,000 soldiers. He lost everything. Yes. So.
Mr. President, one more. I mentioned Poland.
Please go ahead.
When did you last speak with President Putin, and what did he say that?
A couple of days ago.
And what did he tell you that gave you the assurance that he wanted peace?
Well, that's what I do. My whole life is deals. I know pretty good. And I've known him for a long time. I've dealt with him for a long time. He had to suffer through the Russia hoax. You know, Russia was a hoax. It was all Biden. It was nothing to do with him. So he had to suffer through that, and he was able to do that. I think that he wants to make a deal, and he'd like to see it end. That's all I do. That's what I do. My whole life, that's what I do, is make deals. And I'm in the middle of a mess, because this is a real mess. It's a very dangerous one. If this doesn't get solved now, it's not going to get solved for a long time. So I hope we're going to get it solved. In the back, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Prime Minister Starmer claimed repeatedly that his government believes in free speech and was not engaged in censorship. But his country's government arrests people for memes and thought crimes, and even more worrisome is pressuring American companies to censor Americans on its behalf. How can he be a reliable, trustworthy partner when he says things that are demonstrably false on such an important topic?
Well, we actually spoke to him about that yesterday, and we thought they took it very, very much too far. JD was very strong on it. So was I. So was Marco. And we've been speaking to him about it. Marco, would you like to say something about that?
We have concerns, obviously, with the conduct of those, particularly as it impacts Americans. And there's real concern that American speech, which is online, could fall into the hands of British or any country's jurisdiction. And so this is a point the Vice President made at Munich, and I think it's a very compelling one, that what unites us with Europe, as much as anything else, is these shared values, and one of them being free speech. And so if Americans are threatened by it, we're going to need to take action in that regard.
Mr. President.
It's actually a very important question.
We spoke about this in detail with the Prime Minister, the Foreign Secretary, and others at lunch yesterday. And I know that Secretary of Commerce Lutnick followed up in private meetings last night. This is really important. We believe Americans have the right to speak their mind, even if we in this room disagree with them. They have the right to speak their mind in the public square, which is often online these days. And we're going to defend that right as it pertains to American companies and American citizens vigorously if we have to. I do think that under the President's leadership, we're going to find common ground with our friends in the UK on this question, but it remains to be seen. The principle that will guide us is we believe in free speech in this country, and we'll fight for it for American citizens.
Mr. President, on the deal, is there any other oil and gas component to the deal? Is it all critical?
A little bit. We'll see.
On LNG?
But we're not really looking for that so much. We got a lot. We have more than anybody in the world, by far. So no, we're not talking about it too much, but a little bit. I think it affects also, but for the most part, no.
And sir, is there any agreement from Ukraine to purchase U.S. LNG as part of the deal, or is that on the table at all?
No, we don't need that.
Mr. President, I just wanted to ask you about, you just mentioned that you'd spoken to Vladimir Putin a couple of days ago. Just to be clear, that's a new call, not the one that you...
I've spoken to him on numerous occasions.
Okay, and how was the latest call? What did you discuss? How did it go?
Are you serious with that question?
I am. I'd love to know.
It went well. I think we're going to have a deal.
On the minerals deal, Mr. President, some of those minerals are in the east of Ukraine, not far from the front lines and in areas that Russia has occupied. Will you direct President Putin to withdraw his forces from those areas if there's U.S. interest?
Well, we'll take a look at the time. We have a lot of area. It's a very big area we're talking about, so we'll take a look. I'll study that and I'll see.
And who would protect those minerals if they are U.S. interests? Would that be Ukrainian forces?
They'll be protected.
European
The agreement
forces?
will protect them.
U.S.
The
forces?
agreement, yeah, we're signing an agreement. You know?
Right, but what if Russia tries to invade or there's Russian aggression in those spots?
I just told you I don't think that's going to happen. And if that were going to happen, I wouldn't make a deal. If I thought that was going to happen, I wouldn't make a deal.
Some people may wonder why.
You know, they ought to focus on CNN on survival, not asking me these ridiculous questions. Focus on surviving, because CNN's got such low ratings. I don't think they're going to survive. Let's go. Please, go.
I already mentioned Poland. Poland was under Russian control for decades after the Second World War. When I was a kid, I looked at the United States not only as a most powerful country, richest country in the world, the country that has great music, great movies, great muscle cars, but also as a force for good. And now I'm talking with my friends in Poland, and they are worried that you align yourself too much with Putin. What's your message for them?
Well, if I didn't align myself with both of them, you'd never have a deal. You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, "Hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal?" That doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America. And for the good of the world, I'm aligned with the world. And I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred. And I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, you know, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way, so that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
Hey, I want to respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied it, our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact line?
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2015.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
that's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, yeah, the situation the same. The people are been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him. Me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed with him with gas contract. Gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the President for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Count once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems, even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
that.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering
position
on
to
this
dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly what
this.
you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
You
We're going to feel very
you will
good.
Feel influence.
We're going to feel very
I'm
good and very
telling
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the
the
cards right now. With us, you start having
not
cards.
playing cards.
Right now, you don't.
I'm
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're gambling
I'm
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You're
gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's
with
back
all
to you.
respect to your
Far
country.
more than a lot of people said they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once? This
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of
we are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this cabinet.
We gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about West?
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
You invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell you.
just say thank you.
I said a lot of times
that there,
thank you
accept
to
that-
American people.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's
I
very
understand.
important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't please,
you're running
Mr.
low on
President.
soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're
I
saying
said-
you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a
with
ceasefire.
guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
it doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what
that
what
wasn't
this
with me.
means. It
That was
wasn't
with
you.
a guy named Biden who was not a smart person.
This
That
is
was
your,
with,
this
that was
is
with
your
Obama.
president. It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make,
Um,
because the attitudes have to change.
What if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do we do then? I understand that it's a heated conversation right now.
What are you
but
saying?
what
She's
if
asking, what if
Putin
Russia breaks the
breaks
ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now?
But they have
Okay?
broken
What if they
ceasefire
broke it?
many
I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is, I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right, I think we've seen enough. What do you think? Huh? This is going to be great television, I will say that. All right. We'll see what we can do about putting it together. Thank you, sir.
I need the back of your
We'll see, I don't know.
All right, guys, come on. Wait, hey, Guys, come on, let's move, please.
Thank you. The world, would you bring them to the road?
I know, right? Wait, let's take a picture. I haven't taken a you'll never be in the Oval with the moment like that again,
I know.
just to be clear.
Check, testing 1 2 1 2, microphone check. 1 2 1 2. Copy that, thanks dude. Just let me know you're rolling. You rolling? Okay. Thanks dude, bye.
seat.
Over here? Yeah, I'm trying to do this as quick. Not all the time.
Whatever works. I hear you. It's glad it'll be hot for the pool camera. Pool camera. Huh? Glad it'll be hot for the pool camera.
They can take your audio if they want.
Hey, they're all subscribers. It's great.
Left shoulder back and the right foot around.
Yeah.
A little more.
Great. What do you need?
Tell us what happened in the Oval Office.
Yeah, sure. It was really a striking display in the Oval Office as President Donald Trump hosted Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, their first in-person meeting since Trump returned to the White House, and it started off the first 30 minutes just like many normal bylaws. The usual exchange of pleasantries, light praise in both ways, an attempt to sort of paper over any differences that were between the two sides. And then it took a very dramatic turn towards the last 10 minutes of the meeting, shouting, finger pointing, and really a displays of animosity, largely from the U.S. side towards the Ukrainians, for saying that the U.S. wasn't, or that the Ukrainians weren't being grateful enough to the U.S. For the billions of dollars of support in the nearly 3 year, in the more than 3 year Russian invasion.
What was the mood, and in your whole experience covering Oval Office photo ops, what was your reaction?
The meeting started off just like many other bilaps. It was not particularly testy until the very end, and that was something that we have not seen here at the White House, publicly at least, in some years. The closest parallel is a fairly contentious meeting when then President Obama hosted Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in the Oval Office in 2011, and Netanyahu was the one who was sort of lecturing Obama at the time as Obama was trying to restart the Middle East peace process. This was an order of magnitude more contentious than that meeting, and that's the last parallel.
And the press conference that was supposed to happen?
Zelensky's vehicle, his armored SUV, pulled up to the door of the West Wing behind me just a few seconds after President Trump said that Zelensky could come back when there's peace. There's supposed to be a press conference in the east room of the White House where we were expecting Trump and Zelensky to sign a critical minerals agreement that Trump has really demanded that the Ukrainian government sign to give the U.S. an economic stake in Ukraine's future. Zelensky left without that press conference and without signing that agreement as well.
Where do you think things stand now?
Certainly, Trump and the Trump White House have been broadcasting that blow-up in the Oval Office on their social media channels. They are proud of it. They are saying that is an emblematic event of him standing up for America first. And already the reaction from Capitol Hill is very different. Democrats and even some Republicans expressing dismay over President Trump's treatment of the American ally and questions about the future of Ukraine as it tries to negotiate a peaceful resolution with Russia while also maintaining security guarantees and some elements of its sovereignty.
Anything else?
The video speaks for itself there.
Got it, dude. Thank you very much.
Sure thing.
Try to make it closer. So
Oh, yeah, no. Look from the sun, it's warm, it's nice.
Take care of my talent. like to, but I have a feeling if not, he's gonna fuck everything up. Which I can lie, but I don't